All right, so we just walked out of the legislative event here where they're supposed to talk about SJR 0053, and they decided to move it on to the next meeting and not actually discuss it, possibly amend it. Amendments were, from what we heard and understood, was that they would simply amend that they're not encouraging, that it was simply to honor the month of August. I don't know why we're honoring a month. I don't know why in the legislation it should not honor the CDC or the ACIP that are corrupt, that have major financial conflicts of interest, that have committed fraud and lied to the American public. We should never applaud them. We should never honor them. And we shouldn't honor such vaccines as the pneumonia vaccine, the influenza vaccine, the whooping cough vaccine that the research proves are not effective in reducing illness or mortality rates. So that is a fact right there, and the research is there. What I found interesting about this entire event was after they had basically dismissed SJR 0053, after they dismissed that one because of public outcry and what they considered public confusion about what it meant to do, and again they say it's to honor the month of August, which is immunization awareness. We shouldn't be aware of that, we should be aware of health, not injections and needles. Anyways, here's the issue I had. We then got to sit there and observe a very intelligent woman from Arizona actually talking about medical cannabis and getting medical cannabis passed for research purposes as well as for conditions that evidence shows value to, such as pain, cancer pain, and now they're doing research studies showing benefit of PTSD. In upwards of 75% benefit or reduction in PTSD symptoms by the use of medical cannabis. And they want to have it strictly regulated so that it can be administered safely and properly in those manners. So they're not advocating for recreational. That's what's, that's what's good about this, okay? But following her report or her expert opinion and evidence that she presented, then a pediatrician, Dr. Warren, basically took the stand and tried to claim that because there was no randomized controlled trials, well, the government doesn't allow that yet, so until we get that, we can't give that. We can only use population-based studies. It's interesting, though, that a pediatrician would argue that we should not allow a safer and more effective from what the population-based evidence is showing in terms of comparing opiates to, which are deadly, very deadly, proven and brought to market with fraudulent research by the maker of that drug. That's still on the market. So he's okay with that, and I guarantee he probably prescribes it. Anyways, going back to this, he's saying that because we don't have those randomized controlled trials, we shouldn't be allowing legalization for the purposes of hopefully getting the research that then everybody can be satisfied. It's interesting that a pediatrician won't stand on the same foundation of judgment in terms of wanting a randomized controlled trial about vaccines. That pediatrician should be at the next meeting to oppose SJR 53. Why? Because there's never been a randomized controlled trial done on vaccines. Give you an example. When they study the flu vaccines, they give them randomized controlled trials and they use a placebo. The placebo is nothing more than another manufacturer's drug or vaccine, I mean. It's another manufacturer's vaccine. That's ridiculous. That's saying getting hit with a placebo or a Prius is safe because the other group got hit with a Honda. It doesn't make any sense at all. That's how they study the harms-based evidence, and that's how they look at the effectiveness-based evidence. That's ridiculous. So he's kind of, deciding that he doesn't want to use evidence, population-based evidence, which is what they use for vaccines. If he loves solid-based evidence, then he should be in opposition of every single pneumonia vaccine and every single influenza vaccine, if he's truly about the solid evidence and research. Thanks. Hey everybody, I'm the Wild Doc, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you hop on over to thewilddoc.com. Subscribe there for our newsletter and email campaign. Join in the conversation on Facebook, and let's transform the world by unleashing the power of natural healing.